Reed Arena, the place to be. You are watching the SEC on ESPN. Welcome to College Station. In the league where it just means more, these two rivals, they're playing for it all once again. Texas and Texas A&M meeting for the second time in 42 days. Why is this game so vital? Joe Lenardi tells us right now, both A&M and Texas on the bubble. 11 teams are in from the Southeastern Conference. He's got 5 right there on the bubble as we speak. John Crispin, Roy Philpott. It's the rivalry series here in the Lone Star State. It means everything.
Means a little bit more when you're bubble adjacent. You got 4 SEC teams, highly capable teams. 2 of them on display today. They can win NCAA tournament games, but you've got to get yourself to a better situation where you don't need to win this game. Right now, both teams, one team's going to feel really good about winning this, and the other one's going to feel a lot worse.
You're going to hear from Joe Lenardi the deeper we get into this broadcast, but it's a rivalry series that goes back, well, centuries. Their 230th all-time meeting. And it was Texas A&M winning on the road for the first time since 2002 in Austin back on January 17th. The Longhorns have been the dominant squad recently.
Get the sense that the crowd's here for the rivalry, but the hope is that they can fuel their A&M home team to a win, which would be highly significant this late in the season.
On the final day of February, it sounds a lot like March. And the opening tip.
Foul already. That didn't take long.
Bocatitis, in what could be considered a first in his career, picks up a foul 1 second into the game.
I mean, that's tough. I think he did it. He grabbed Sean Agee's arm, but to pick up a foul that early in the game, a guy who gets fouled a lot, but also does his share. I gotta say though, Sean Agee put his arm into Bocatitis' chest. I would probably let that go. That's a bold whistle this early in the game.
A second in.
Oh, we're gonna review it too.
And another first.
I'm not saying a word. I don't have a word about this review. This is hilarious.
Pat Adams,
we're just gonna keep building the momentum here.
And Patrick Evans, our officials tonight.
All right, Sean Miller is appealing.
The coach for Texas is going to appeal the previous play for a possible flagrant foul.
1 second. We're 1 second into a game, and we've already got one. This is great. They just keep the music playing, build the energy. They've got a packed house. We've got a rivalry game. Both teams just really close, too close to the bubble. I think we're just going to keep building the excitement into this one. I think everybody would be fine if no whistle was blown. No one's win or losing the game on a tip, but I'll tell you what would hurt is one foul for a guy that can easily pick up another 4.
John, 1 second in. 1 second in. The opening tip.
Yeah.
And the foul and a review.
But handle this with delicacy.
After the review, the call on the floor stands. It is a common foul on red, number 8. Texas will lose its timeout.
Just in case we didn't have enough energy in the building, let's start within the first second of this game with a foul on the jump ball. And this place is loving it. This is great. I came in a little low energy today. That's out the window.
Reed Arena is rocking. We haven't even seen a single shot. And Sean Miller still with plenty to say to this veteran officiating crew. Here we go. Okay, now we've seen it all.
I'd rather have that review than end of the game.
Griffin off the mark was a major factor the second half in Austin. Vokatitis the rebound, and here comes the Longhorns. Starting five for UT, Cam Heide remains in Sean Miller's good graces. We're going to see a little bit more of Nick Cody today. He'll go a little bit deeper in the bench, wanting more from number 5 in burnt orange. Dalen Swain leads the charge in the scoring department, the transfer from Xavier.
You mentioned Cam Heide. Would you say good graces or good-ish?
Good-ish. Pope in and out. For the time being is the words I was looking for there.
And it's Texas A&M basketball.
Aggies coming in at 19-9, 9-6 in the SEC. NC State transfer Marcus Hill. Griffin out of Kansas. Shakari Lane, North Alabama. Dominguez and Rashawn Agee, the leading scorer for the fighting Texas Aggies. Poked away by Mark. And Tremont Mark, the steal. He'll turn it back over to Agee. Well, it's gotten physical early. And if that's Vokatitis, that's going to be his second. It is.
Two of the most unorthodox fouls to go find a seat on the bench within a minute and 3 seconds into this game. Montaj Vokatitis is on the bench with 2 fouls. And if you're not going to dive for that ball, which he did not, you can't risk picking up a second foul.
Well, with Vokatitis on the bench at 7 feet, 260 pounds, the size advantage for the Longhorns somewhat negated. Nick Cody checks in against Agee. Mano a mano, the pump fake. And Cody held his ground.
I don't think anyone wanted to blow a whistle there either.
There goes Swain, and Dalen Swain connects.
He's just been so good, and they do a good job of spacing the floor. When he gets the ball top of the key, just give him room to work. He often has the advantage. You need to give him room. Just can't do that.
Chippy foul against Swain. That's his first 13 foul.
Not terrible, just a little over-aggressive. The crowd's great so far, too. I think that foul on the tip just lit him up even more.
We had 2 fouls on Vokatitis before the first points were scored in this game. Pope, the rejection on Lane.
I would keep seeking out Dalen Swain and just give him opportunities to win off the bounce.
Almost sounds as if you know what Sean Miller wants to do here. On cue. Swain with a bounce, he's got 4.
I think he's going to be able to get where he wants to go, and he can shoot over the top of any defender that's covering him. And if you switch too much, he can start to win at the foul line.
Lane, the bounce pass. Hill swatted from behind by Cody. That's going to be his first.
The key for Texas, when you look at early fouls, you can't chase the game. You've got to get ahead of the game. And the way Texas A&M plays, they get up and down the floor fast. They put pressure on you defensively. You start to play at a faster-paced game than you may be comfortable with. But when you chase on the defensive end, you tend to foul. So you've got to settle in with the pace of this game to get ahead of the play defensively.
Marcus Hill starting to emerge for Texas A&M. 6 his last 8 games in double figures.
I think guys are learning how to make an impact in the style of play that Buckyball puts forth. I think you have to get comfortable with the pace, the style, the intensity, and also the ability to move on from a mistake. Oh, Lord, it got quiet.
A&M on the board, 4-1. It was incredibly quiet for those 2 free throws. Trapping pressure, you talked about Buckyball. Saved to Heide and ahead to Swain. Heidi left wide open. Pops out to Pope.
Sean Miller said that they've got to be able to offensive rebound, something they were able to do first half against Florida.
Mark contested three, and he gets it to go.
He's been able to knock down more and more threes. He needs to be effective on the offensive end for Texas to be as good as they can be.
I was asking you, we haven't seen a ton from Cam Heidi the last 2 weeks, and Tremont Marcus kind of stepped up in his absence from three-point range, and he's been shooting the three a little better.
I think he has to. Especially he's a guy that gets open looks.
AG bullies his way into the paint. And 2 free throws coming for Sean Agee.
I mean, just look at the Texas bench. Every coach is standing up, holding their hands in the air, saying, stop digging down, stop picking up the foul, just force them to make tough contested shots over the top.
Swain just picked up his second personal. Vokatitis already has 2. And AG at the stripe shooting a pair.
Checks in for Texas A&M. Simeon Wiltshire checks in for correction 2.
Weaver checks in. Swain goes out with the 2 personals.
When we're finally joined by the network we're going to be on, you're going to have a heck of a time resetting the table with this one.
We got a bunch of fouls.
There's a lot to explain.
We had a foul in the first second, right?
One more for the Aggies as for
Have you ever seen that? You've called games a little bit longer than I have.
No. Problem is I wouldn't remember if I did see it.
That's true, too. Kevin Brown, thank you very much. Welcome to Aggie Land, and there's a lot to talk about early in this one. The visitors from Austin off and running with a 4-point advantage, but their 2 top players, Dalen Swain and Matas Vokatitis, currently on the bench, both with 2 fouls before our first media timeout. John Crispin, Roy Philpott, Aggies back to work. Zach Clemens off the mark in the box out by Cody, out of bounds to the Horns.
there is a timeout on the floor.
7-3, 4 minutes in. And for everybody just joining us now on ESPN2, 1 second into this game, on the opening tip, there was a foul called on Matas Vokatitis. The crowd has been absolutely on fire to start. And it's almost as if that early foul ignited Reed Arena a little bit more. And here's a look. AG and Vokatitis toe-to-toe. There's a grab, some contact, and we actually had an official review after 1 second of play. It is what it is.
I think they were picking on me with that one.
Hey, maybe so. What else would you expect in a rivalry series where in the league where it just means more, 2 teams where the rivalry means a lot more? Crispin and Philpott, so glad you could join us. And this arena has been amped from the jump.
Well, and I think what adds to it is Matas Vokatitis has kind of become a villain in some ways in this conference. So that's not always a negative thing. It's good to be a villain. You want to play with that guy. The problem is he got 2 early fouls that ignited this crowd even further. Then Dalen Swain goes out. Best player for Texas, who had really gotten it going offensively. That's the biggest concern for me. The offense was flowing through Dalen Swain. He picks up 2 fouls. Now it's a total adjustment to the point where Texas is going to have to go smaller, and they're probably going to have to play the game that Texas A&M wants to play. Buckyball, up and down, pressure defense.
Well, this game, critical for so many reasons, but Joe Lunardi tells us on the final day of February, he's got 11 teams in the field of 68 out of the SEC, and these 2 teams going toe-to-toe today among his last 4 byes. They are right there in desperate need of closing down their regular season in strong fashion. We go back 42 days ago, the first meeting between A&M and Texas. Ryland Griffin went off in the second half, 17 points. It was a tie game at intermission, and then the Aggies pulled away late in Austin.
Well, Sean Miller mentioned that. We spoke to him before the game, and he said, look, we did a good job in the first half, limiting their threes. They only got 2. The problem is they got 4 in the second half, and it flipped the way the game was played. I think what's going to flip the style of this game is the fact that Matas Vokatitis is probably not playing for the rest of the first half. Dalen Swain, different story. He's a guy you might have to get back in this first half. I don't think you keep it close with your best player being on the bench when that's your entire offense for the first few possessions.
How much does score dictate what Sean Miller does? Because he's got a 4-point lead 4 minutes in.
I mean, look, the game's just underway. I think score does matter, but feel is another thing. You can feel when the game is slipping away, and it may not be reflected in the score, but you can feel that you're losing the battle. That is, this is not a game we can win over a 40-minute period. And I think I've said before with Texas A&M, the effect of buckyball is cumulative more than anything else. It wears you down. At times you feel like you're going to have opportunities to play against a pressure defense, maybe to attack the press and score. The problem is doing that for 40 minutes is going to wear you down. It's going to wear you down even further when your two best players are on the bench.
Bucky McMillan, year number 1 in College Station. He has taken the SEC by storm, coming in from Sanford out of the Southern Conference, and his team in position to go dancing next month, which, by the way, starts tomorrow, March 1st.
Wow. Sunday
this weekend, as in, what are we, less than 12 hours away. We're going to be there pretty soon.
I love how Sean said to us for the game, he goes, it's March tomorrow, or is there another day? Like, I never know.
First media timeout in the books. Big win for Clemson against Louisville, protecting its home court, Little John Coliseum, in a game that concluded moments ago. And now, here we are in the heart of the SEC.
That's the most I've ever seen happen in the first second of a game.
I was a little surprised that time actually elapsed there.
Yeah.
I thought maybe it would just be an early foul. Tremont Mark in the air forever and a chance for 3. Little razzle-dazzle from number 12 in burnt orange.
I tell you what, if Texas can attack the pressure with really 4 guards on the floor, if you can attack the pressure, you can really deflate this crowd. And I like the attack from Tremont Mark. Didn't look at a lob, he just went chest to chest.
Well, that one's a bit more personal against Jamie Vinson, the former Texas Longhorn, who had a poster dunk in the first meeting between these two back in mid-January.
He also had a few posters up. Might have been some disgruntled X's in the stands.
I remember
Texas.
that. That's correct. Good memory by you. How do you remember that?
The pattern has to get me there.
I got you. 10-3 advantage for the Longhorns on the road in hostile territory. Zach Clemens just checked in. He's coming off a career-high 29. The loss at Arkansas back on Wednesday. Pop Isaacs behind the back. Agee for 3. Not really known as a three-point shooter, but the first field goal for the Aggies comes nearly 5 minutes in. Weaver nearly lost it out of bounds.
Yeah, you've got Cam Heide in the back. There's no reason to stay back. You got to provide help. You got 3-4 defenders up there making it difficult to get it in bounds. Number one thing, you got to get the ball in bounds. Ideally not in the short corner.
Weaver's got to go. 5-second violation and a turnover.
Cam Heide was wide open as he curled through. The problem is he didn't look for the basketball. You can be an outlet last second, but you don't want it to get there. If you can get the ball in bounds to Cam Heide and then get it and go, that's inexcusable.
Full court pressure pays off early. And now it's Agee. On the move and off the knee. And they will say was last touched by Cody. It stays for the Aggies.
How about the fact that he makes a 3? By the way, he shot that 3 like a 50-year-old at the Y. You know, it looks like he could shoot that shot for the next 30 years, but it led to a hard closeout that he was able to attack.
Agee shooting 22% from downtown. Skip pass, Ali Deba. Stop and pop rejected by Mark. And a shot clock violation gives it back to the Horns.
If I was Texas, I would have picked that ball up as quickly as possible just to avoid the pressure of the press. That ball's bouncing around. Don't let it shot clock violation. Get that thing and go. I don't want to face this press every possession.
John, I want to ask you in layman's terms, buckyball and the full court pressure. What are the basic principles we're watching here?
Well, I would tell you, after talking to Bucky over and over again, it's play hard. Like, there are a lot of intricacies to what they do. The run and jump, the trap on occasion. It's not always predictable, and some of that is player-led. Guys on the floor have to play with feel. But I think the play hard component, and I often get annoyed when people say, oh, we want to play hard. Well, you got to define it. Well, I think Bucky McMillan defines it.
Agee nearly banked in the three. Weaver finally hauls in the rebound.
I think given the fouls, Weaver's going to have a significant impact. He typically does.
Yeah, there are some metrics suggesting when Weaver, Swain, and Jordan Pope are on the floor together, they're elites in scoring, and Pope on cue from downtown. It's 13-6. You really think of Weaver as an offensive dynamo. He does so many things well, as does Clements, the KU transfer.
Oh, he got a matchup he liked, and he was committed to taking advantage of that advantage. You like to see that. That's players just playing with instinct. They see something they like, and they just attack. It allows you to be the aggressor.
Here's Cam Heide. Mark. And Heide lost the rebound. Stolen back by Weaver. Well, the ultimate glue guy does what he does. Upended on the foul, and a chance for three.
He really is impactful. And I think there are a lot of players out there that bring high energy, and you often underestimate their actual value on the floor. Might not be the most skilled player out there, but you just make plays. You can play with any lineup rotation. You just add value. That's something Kendall Weaver does night in, night out.
For Texas, Kendall Weaver.
Now Clements just got caught right underneath him. His first foul. And Weaver.
It's amazing how effective Texas has been on offense so long as they get the ball above half court. They've struggled getting the ball in, but when they get the ball in the half court, they've been effective to start this one.
Well, the efficiency numbers for Texas this season under Sean Miller, it's kind of what he was doing at the end of his career at Xavier, were phenomenal. They are again for the Horns this year. Clements inside. Heide stood his ground. Agee down low.
He's really hard not to like. I mean, as a player, you appreciate what he does on the floor, but then when you see him in shoot-arounds, you realize his emotional impact. He's just fun to be around.
He's become a leader for this team, according to Bucky McMillan. He's always one of the more vocal players at shoot-around. And he's a guy that'll show up 2 hours before tip, get some jumpers up, sweatpants and no shirt. Yep. He's ready to go shirts and skins. Yep. Weaver lost the handle, stolen by Griffin. Agee against Cody, little shake and bake. Cody with a block. Outstanding defense.
Well, that time Cody just held his ground and went straight up. That's why they're going to be at the best. Just force the toughest shot possible. That's good defense.
Longhorns have not trailed so far here at Reed Arena. Heide hesitates. 0 for 2 from deep.
Shouldn't have hesitated.
Jakari Lane and Simeon Wilcher tried to keep it in bounds. He could not.
There's a timeout on the floor.
It started off pretty weird. You know, we had the review within 1 second, but the game is picked up, and surprisingly, with two best players out, Texas is still able to outscore A&M early in this one.
Well, looking from Aggie Park towards Kyle Field, we remind you, coming up tonight, ESPN, the place to be here in the SEC. Alabama heads to Rocky Top in a top 25 showdown between the Crimson Tide and Tennessee. And also later tonight, 8:30, number 20 Arkansas and 7th-ranked Florida, Gonzaga and St. Mary's. The late night tip out west at 10:30 Eastern. All three of those games on ESPN later today into the evening. Sean Miller, year one in Austin, and already with 17 wins and on the bubble in position to take the Longhorns dancing in his first campaign.
How about both players with 2 fouls on the floor? Out of that timeout.
Vokatitis and Swain.
That's wild.
And the lob to Vincent from Griffin.
Now I would be attacked. I'd go right at him.
Vincent against Vokatitis connects.
Look, you got to go at him because you're either going to force him to foul or have him play token defense. I would go at the guys that can basically only play token defense. Dalen Swain, Matas Vokatitis, they are not going to give you everything physically. They can't.
Steal by Diba. Ali Diba, full head of steam. And bumped on the way to the rack. He'll shoot 2.
That's the challenge with playing guys. It's like, well, do you go back with Vokatitis? You go back with Swain. It's like, I would go back with Swain, probably not Vokatitis, because Vokatitis, I need everything that he brings. Physically, I need everything he brings. I need him to get other people in foul trouble with his physicality. I don't think he's the same player with the 2 fouls. I feel like Dalen Swain can be.
2 free throws for Diba. The foul was called on Weaver. Next personal foul on the Horns means Texas A&M's in the bonus the rest of the half.
Dude, we had a review within a second.
1 second. Wild.
It's not great for the guy that gets hyped up in a negative way when we have reviews. It's an early test for me.
I thought you did well.
I handled it well.
You did.
Proud of myself.
It's a check for John Crispin. Nearly halfway home in the first and poked out of bounds by Diba.
I think the good thing about it was it happened so fast that it didn't disrupt the actual game. It actually built it up even more. We've talked about this as a rivalry matchup. The crowd was here early for this one, and then you have 2 of the 4 teams from the SEC that are on the last 4 byes, so you understand you're bubble adjacent. This game matters. One team's going to walk away from this one feeling good. Other team, not so much.
Bubble adjacent, is that a new phrase?
For now.
Okay. Vokatitis with a dunk.
Basket by Matas Vokatitis.
Jakari Lane with a path, a jump stop, too strong. And Vokatitis claims the rebound. With Texas, a different team with number 8 on the floor.
They are, so long as he can be his impactful self.
Against Svensson, the skip pass nearly turned it over. Now it's Mark on Griffin. Aggies coming off a tough road loss at Bud Walton Arena. For 40 minutes, shot over 52%. Trailed virtually the entire night. Made a game of it, Vincent. But then Darius Acuff Jr. started to take over.
Yeah, that Darius Acuff is a real problem for anybody that is not wearing an Arkansas jersey. He's incredible.
SEC Player of the Year in your mind?
Yes.
Here's Diba. The hesitation. And Pope was caught in a dangerous spot right under the rim, and a foul was called. So Vincent picks up his second. And multiple changes coming in for both sides.
I like this, where you get Matas in for a little bit, you get him a little feel, and you get him back out. So you keep him involved in the game. You allow him to develop a game rhythm, which, by the way, that does matter. Sitting out the first half is not the best thing. So allowing Matas Vokatitis with the 2 fouls to find a little game rhythm with substitution patterns, that's going to be key. I'm still not sure I'd play him, though, because he's prone to foul.
A very physical player.
Yes. Well, and also you're trying to capitalize on your matchup advantage against a smaller Texas A&M team. So I would say he's even more prone to foul.
Swain had the first 4 points of the game, was bumped by Clements. That's going to be his second. And free throws for Texas's leading scorer in 2026.
Dalen Swain's the kind of guy where he does have to play in this first half, one way or another. He's just too important. You start to switch on him, he will pick apart any matchup. And I think what's tough about him is if he gets a 5 on him, he's going to pick apart that matchup. It's a 1, 2, or 3. It doesn't matter. He's got an advantage.
Dalen Swain now over 1,000 points in his career. Pretty important, too. He comes with Sean Miller from Xavier in an NCAA tournament appearance last year. He knows what it's going to take to get Texas into the dance next month.
But I also think he understands, like Sean Miller understands what holes Dalen Swain can fill, which matters. Like, you're talking about one-year teams at this point in college basketball. You're learning your team throughout the course of the season. If you have one guy that you know can fill certain holes, that solves a lot of problems as a coach.
Yeah, Swain does that and then some.
I should say in theory at least.
Yeah. He's playing like an all-conference performer in the SEC this year. Hill, a late whistle. And Wilcher was trying to close out. Foul is going to be on Simeon Wilcher, his first.
That's the difference between college guys and pros, amongst many other things. College guys try to block every shot. Pros understand that's not a high percentage shot. You don't overhelp as a secondary defender to take that away. You get in rebound position because you're going to get a run out. Just contest that tough shot. It's the best you can do.
Hill started all but 4 games this year, coming in from the ACC at NC State.
Are you a fan of the two-tone in the court? I dig this court.
I do
nice.
like it. I think it pops on TV.
Yeah.
This is also a shooter's gym. It feels
It
like
is.
the sight lines are solid.
Well, I started a solid 11 for 11 in my shoot-around, so.
Is that documented?
In my head, yeah. I didn't shoot any 3 balls, though.
A lot of layups.
That's what we do. It's called build confidence, Roy.
I like it. Weaver trying to build confidence against the Aggies' full court pressure. They'll run their motion set, and here's Weaver again. The jump stop. Pops out to Heidi, and out of bounds to the Aggies.
These are the type of plays that this crowd is going to get into even more, even in particular against a rival. Hustle plays matter a little bit more in rivalry games because the energy of the crowd follows the play.
You got guys here dressed as bananas. You had Diva throwing it off the knee of Cam Heidi moments ago.
Spend $50,000 a year on an education just to see your kid dressed up like a banana at a basketball game.
What a time to be alive. Hill. No look bounce pass. Isaacs, no. Agee on the offensive glass. Who wants it? It'll stay on this end.
But what'd you see? Saw Texas players with their hands straight up. The bench has been calling for it. But right now, yeah, Mokatitis, he got that foul within 1 second in the game, but he's still been able to have an impact. Risky playing him, but maybe a bigger risk not playing him.
NCAA tournament bubble has grown so wild for SEC teams that 4 teams from the conference now sit as 10 seeds in our latest bracket. 2 of them facing off this afternoon, Texas and Texas A&M. Common sense suggests it's going to take 2 more wins for each to feel safe about making the big dance, and only the winner of today's game will be halfway there.
The bracket bunker already. Back to live action. Take a look at the SEC and what he's considering right now after the 3 by AG. 11 teams in, but you got 5, John Crispin, on the bubble.
Yeah, look, if you're on the outside of the bubble, it's nice to sniff the bubble. If you're in the field, per Joe Lunardi, you don't want to sniff the bubble. You don't want to be that close.
Here's a steal. Aggies have not led so far today, but now we're tied at 20.
They do a lot of work off the bounce, and if they have room to work, they're really tough to stop getting to the basket.
Heidi off the bounce, no. Hill claims it, Mark gets it right back. Heidi's 0 for 4.
Shot's a little flat.
AG, Texas A&M with its first lead.
I feel as if the energy has shifted, and the concern is, as they ramp things up, concern is Texas able to be as aggressive as they need to be with 2 of your best players on the floor with 2 fouls?
9-0 run for Texas A&M. Aggies by 2. Swain with a crossover. Rodriguez controls. Ruben Dominguez with the rebound. Marcus Hill the other way. Well, Dominguez can shoot the 3. We've seen that so many times this year. The back door. And a swipe by Heidi. Will be called for the personal.
I just think it's tough. You've got one team in Texas A&M who right now is in 5th gear. They are just pressuring in the full court on a miss or made basket or dead ball situation. They've really dictated the game that way. They've been able to be the aggressor on offense and defense. And then you have a Texas team where 2 best players have 2 fouls. It's kind of tempered aggression. And I think it's shifted the control of this game to A&M.
Texas A&M in the bonus rest of the way. And Dominguez an 89% free throw shooter. Ruben, a veteran international player with over 150 games of pro experience, leads the Aggies with 74 three-pointers this season.
Shoot, if you play college basketball that much, you're going to have 150 games of pro experience.
Valuable for Bucky McMillan to have that kind of presence on this team in his first season here in College Station.
Well, if you can't find it overseas anymore, you could probably just recruit the NBA.
Hey, we've seen that happen this season.
Unbelievable.
11-0 run for the Aggies, who now lead it by 4. Wilcher thought about it, and Simeon Wilcher with some contact and a foul called against A&M.
There's going to be guys, and sometimes the tendency recognition is not just how to cover somebody, it's who to attack. Pop Isaacs is a guy that I would pump fake and attack off the bounce. His initial defense is 2 hands on the ball handler. The 2 hands on the ball handler, you may think it gives the defense an advantage, but if you continue to attack, they're off balance.
Joe Lunardi, coming back from that last break, indicated these 2 teams both have to win at least 2 more games in his mind to make the NCAA tournament. The winner today is halfway home for 2 squads that are currently on the bubble. Swain.
Wow.
How do you get that to sneak up and in?
He's good. How do you like that for analysis?
Hey, it works for me. Sometimes that's all it takes. Federico. Hill up and in. And a foul was called. Count the bucket.
I think they're just going to say it was goaltending,
even though it went
basket.
through.
Yes.
Yeah, Owen short with that indication.
Doing a good job keeping this thing as clean as possible. I think officials understand you've got two teams. They're on the bubble. They need this game. Also a rivalry game. Just keep control of the contest.
Easier said than done.
Yeah, seriously. Oh, I'm not looking for that job. I promise you that.
I don't think they're searching you out either.
No, they shouldn't be. I'd be the only official that just wants to change all the rules.
Bounce pass, Titus traveled.
Oh, we're gonna get him with a foul.
Oh, the pivot foot shifted. Pat Adams the call with the hip check.
Aggies foul number 33, Federico. That is his first. Team foul number 6.
I'd like to see it. I just thought he traveled.
There were multiple pivot feet there.
Is my silence telling you enough?
Yes. Titus wanted to shoot free throws. He was not in the act of going to the rim.
This is that lineup Sean Miller talked about with Cody and Titus on the floor at the same time.
Swain. Big if it goes, and it does. Three-point shots gotten better for number 3.
This whole game's gotten better.
Hill down low. He was a non-factor in Austin back on January 17th. Much faster start for numeral 0 for the Aggies today.
Well, he's done a lot more off the bounce. You just get to the rim, get a shot up on the rim, create opportunities off the bounce. It opens up the game for everybody else.
Pope off the screen, and we're tied at 28.
I would be so careful running handoffs with Matas Titus having 2 fouls. I just wouldn't do it because they're looking for that, and that was as close as it could get to being a foul on Titus. And what may sway it is how you sell it.
There's the lob. Federico, no. Swain the other way. Dalen Swain gets it back. Titus up and in. Horns back in front. And Bucky McMillan has seen enough. He'll call a timeout.
Texas A&M calls timeout.
30-28, timeout Aggies. And a good one brewing here in College Station. Much here in College Station. A lot of big games already concluding in the SEC and around the country. Big Blue Nation, a big win in Lexington against Vanderbilt.
At 3:49, number 0 for Texas scored a shot that was ruled a 3-point shot. It is a 2-point shot.
Yep. Now, what I would be more concerned with, okay, we'll take the 2, basket went in. I would be more concerned with Matas Vokatitis with 2 fouls involved in any sort of dribble handoff situation, because if I was Pop Isaacs, knowing that I'm trailing a player who's getting a handoff from a guy who's got 2 fouls and is prone to make contact, I am selling the mess out of that. LeBron could do it.
Well, that escalated quickly. Hill, rejected by Weaver. Cody picks it up. You went straight LeBron that quickly?
I don't know, maybe the algorithm's got me, but I've seen a lot of flopping.
Horns already a season high 7 blocks.
I think a lot of that's coming because the dribble drive's been the attack offensively for A&M.
Vokatitis outside of Weaver. Not really his game. Tracked down by Hill.
That's
stolen by Kendall Weaver.
That's his game.
The glue guy.
Yes, sir.
Right?
I would think of him as more like peel and stick.
I think he would take that.
Yeah.
Nick Cody, pump fake, hesitation, short, Weaver, and AG claims it.
It's been a good first half given how it started.
Griffin, stolen by Hill. Dominguez, and rifles that pass out of bounds.
Sometimes I think Weaver wants to miss a shot or turn it over just to go get it back. He is unbelievable in terms of his ability to just go get the basketball. He's up there. He's first team All-SEC. Hate to play against, love to play with.
Like the all hustle team.
Sure, you can name it that too. You can steal whatever I do and make it your own. That's fine. Man.
Absolutely, I will. Get to know me. 1-point lead for Texas. Dominguez. And Pope the box out of Isaacs. You got Pope and Pops getting after it. Pope the step back. Off the mark, he thought he was hammered on the release. It's gonna stay on this end. No, they'll change it. No, Owen Short says we'll stay with Texas.
Are more arenas going into the in-between music?
I enjoy it.
Yeah, it's good.
It keeps the crowd engaged. Pop Isaacs right on top of Mark. Had to heave one. Nearly got it to go. Heidi smacks it to Wilcher.
Smart.
In and out for Cody. We saw more of Nick Cody against Florida with their size. That midweek loss to the Gators, who are playing very well right now. Dominguez. And Cody double dribbled. He knew it.
You got Jordan Pope at half court. You got Tremont Mark at half court. Camp Heidi all the way on the other side of the floor. They used to say this more a decade or so. Give it to a guard. Nowadays, everybody's a guard.
AG throws it up and in off the glass. AG in double figures. He's got 14 points.
I like the out of bounds underneath. A&M just spaced the floor and threw over the top to Rashawn AG, who already had position.
Under a minute to go. Mark bottled up. Pop Isaacs. Now it's Cody against AG. Try to return the favor and could not. Shot clock is off. pop off the screen. The jump stop. And that is how our first half comes to a close.
Biggest key, Roy, the two players that had 2 fouls early for Texas got through the entire first half with only 2 fouls. Huge for Sean Miller.
1 point lead for the home team, the Aggies over the Longhorns. Coming up next, halftime report. Ardo Cal, Malcolm Huckabee, Coach Crean. Gentlemen, Back in College Station, Texas, you're watching the SEC on ESPN. A look at the Albritton Bell Tower on what is a spring-like final day of February. They are rocking and rolling in Reed Arena. And a 1-point lead for the home team in this bubblicious matchup in College Station. John Crispin, Roy Philpott, this game has had everything that we expected so far.
And a lot that we hoped we didn't have, like a foul within the first second. 2 fouls for Dalen Swain and Matas Fokatitis, which really made things interesting.
It was 1 second into the game today where Matas Fokatitis on the tip, 1 second in, draws his first foul. Moments later, he picks up his second foul. Seconds later with 18:57 to go in the half.
And luckily, they were able to do a lot of. Dalen Swain had 2 fouls as well. Going back to the 16-minute mark, he had 2 fouls, but it was his show in the first half. Offensively, it was all about Dalen Swain. 11 points, the rest of his team had 18. He's going to have to perform like that in the second if they want to keep this close, because Texas A&M had the ball moving. A lot of it comes off the bounce, where they attack, get the defense to relocate, find opportunities inside the defense, and Rashawn Agee just does what he does. Junkyard dog type of guy, he makes his own. This is going to be a really interesting second half. First half was interesting in its own right. Hopefully this is interesting in a better way.
Choppy start.
Sure.
But it became more fluid the deeper we got into those first 20 minutes. Let's see how the second half gets going.
But we didn't see a full Matas Fokatitis, and we didn't see a full Dalen Swain because of the foul trouble. And now, like I said, I expected to see a little more zone. Here you go.
The zone and the strip. Dominguez comes away with it. And Lane tried to use the reverse and got caught in no man's land. Joe Lunardi has both Texas and Texas A&M on the bubble, both amongst his final 4 teams to receive a bye and avoid the first 4 in Dayton. Jordan Pope, no. Heidi, no. And Fokatitis, yes.
A little confusion there defensively from A&M. I think Hill thought they were in zone. Everybody else was staying with their man.
Dominguez. Fokatitis, the box out. Rips it away from Agee. Pope was open. Lane closed late. He'll shoot that a lot of times. Swain behind the back.
With Texas, you can live with that. He has really made a living there in that mid-range area. He's got the advantage size-wise, and he can get where he wants off the bounce.
Yeah, Dalen Swain averaging 18 points per game. Agee gets the roll. Fokatitis was right there. Looked like that could have been basket interference. Instead, count the 2. A&M back in front.
Initial minutes, too. You also watch to see, is Fokatitis going to be as physical as he wants to be? That's really where he can dominate a game, is with his physicality. I don't think you push it early, but as the game picks up, I think you can ramp up the physicality.
A little surprised he got back in the first half. You talked about it. And then also to avoid his 3rd foul, Mark with the mid-range, his specialty.
I wasn't surprised that Sean Miller came back with Dalen Swain. You need him. He is your offense. And if you're going to play with a smaller lineup, that's going to be the other way. The back of the head of Dominguez. I get, you also trust you can hide Dalen Swain a little bit easier than you can hide a 7-foot Matas Fokatitis. But to get as much out as you got out of both of them, that's kind of a blessing. Yeah, that's not ideal.
Dominguez, like, what just happened? We had a lunch a few days ago where we had a basketball off ahead. That's another story for another day.
We did. I almost forgot about that.
Everybody was okay. Dominguez is just fine here. And now Fokatitis at the top of the key. Boy, everywhere Matas Fokatitis goes, he creates some contact and physicality. Relentless, and Agee slaps it out of bounds. It's something that Sean Miller's been working on with Fokatitis all year. That controlled aggression, right?
I think it's hard, though, because that's part of the scouting report when you're prepping to play Texas and you're going up against Matas Fokatitis. You're prepared for his physicality. So you push a little bit harder, which he pushes back, and I think it pushes him into a situation that makes him pick up fouls.
Texas by 3, the bucket by Pope. And Pope now with 7. AG wanted the foul. We'll head back to the other end of the court. And he's grabbing his hand.
6 foul defense for Texas A&M.
You know I like the no call. I know Matas Fokatitis is going to throw his hands up late. I want the call too.
He's still grasping that hand.
I do like the play on early here in the second half. Let's let players dictate how this thing is being played.
Mark, the corner 3 now. AG grabs it. 4 on 3. Hill and a chance for 3.
Those transition opportunities are everything for A&M. You can get easy buckets in transition. Even better, can you get to the free throw line? That's going to allow them to set up whatever defense they want. If they want to put pace on this game, you're going to see full court pressure. If they want to get back in zone, they've got time to get that set.
And for the Aggies, it is 0 Marcus Hill to the line, shooting the end ball.
Marcus Hill now in double figures with 11, joining Rashawn Agee in that department.
Is 0 a number to you?
I call it a numeral.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair. A little nuance to your answer there.
Well, you think about the phrase empty set, 0,
Yeah.
nothing. Well, what is it?
0 is nothing.
But we count it as a number in today's
Now-
sporting society.
Now, double 0 might be the dumbest thing. That doesn't make sense to me.
Here's Mark. Sends it out of bounds.
They're really trying to get Matas Fokatitis a seal in the post, but Rashawn Agee does such a good job fighting around. He's saying, I didn't touch it, review it.
Bucky McMillan looking back towards his staff. And they are thinking about it. And Bucky McMillan thinks otherwise. Well, that's a new rule in college basketball this year. You get the chance to challenge.
Nobody wants to be that guy that has to make that decision. It's a lot of weight to carry.
Mark, a monster first step and delivers.
Just his ability to elevate in the mid-range has made him so tough, and I think he's got more confidence shooting that mid-range jump shot than anything else.
Plenty of experience in the NCAA tournament at Houston and Arkansas. Now with the horns. Pop Isaacs poked away by Weaver. In the under 16 media timeout, a little Marcus Hill, the delivery.
If you can get out in transition and make it as easy as possible, defense isn't set, attack, earn an opportunity at the foul line, get your defense set. That's the type of game Bucky McMillan wants to see.
Introducing SportsCenter for you, personalized every single day. Now available on the ESPN app. Powered by your favorites.
Back here inside of Reed Arena, College Station, Texas. Sean Miller imploring his team. Just leads it by 3. First-year head coach coming into Austin from Xavier. And the Aggies back to work, 37-34 in favor of the visitors. The second matchup between these two teams the last 42 days. Game 1, round 1 went to Texas A&M. But it was close, 74-70. Swain to Weaver. And Hill controls the rebound. Agee thought about it.
The guy behind me yelled no.
Good look inside for Pop Isaacs.
That's demoralizing. Sean Agee hit 2 threes in the first half, and dude behind us yells no when he goes to shoot. Rough.
Fans care about their basketball here in Aggie Land. Lead back down to 1. Mark to Weaver. And Weaver attacks the rack, not this time. Vokatitis claimed the rebound. And a quick foul called by Pat Adams. Now don't forget Ernie, Kenny, Charles, and Shaq be on ABC tonight, 8 Eastern, to get you ready. The Lakers-Warriors matchup at 8:30. Be back on air after the game on Inside the NBA to break down all the action from around the association. That is tonight out west.
That was a good attack by Kendall Weaver. I can't say enough about the energy he brings. Hasn't made a ton of shots, but it just influences the game.
Pope from downtown. If he gets going, look out.
Yeah. Well, you can't get mixed up on an out of bounds underneath. You're talking through where the threats are, but then once the ball gets in bounds, you have to continue to identify it. Maybe that's why he yelled no.
Agee and air ball. Mark Vokatitis. And a timeout called. Matas Vokatitis off the lob, and Texas back in front by 6.
There is a timeout.
He had said, like, I'm not sure which team can pull away in this one. Neither has really established the game. Now, you did point Texas's way. You felt like they could make a little run and pull away. So far, they've been the ones to do just that, and they're doing it Bucky's way. the road team starting to separate just a little bit, and I said they were doing it Bucky's way. Well, that's off the bounce. Out of bounds underneath, you get mixed up, you go underneath on a good shooter, and he makes you pay. And then, as I said, Bucky ball in transition. This was Texas A&M's MO, right? You want to get up and down the floor, push that tempo, pressure. Texas has been able to fight that pressure, but they've also been able to attack.
And Modest Vokatitis has done a nice job not picking up that third foul, even if it appeared or felt like that he should have. Currently on the bench, but he's got 8 points, 6 rebounds.
I think the biggest key is that now when he comes back in, he can fully kick off the training wheels. He's got 3 fouls to go. You can start to impose your physicality on the game.
6 minutes into the second half, Texas had 8 turnovers in the first 20 minutes today. None so far in the second against that A&M pressure. Isaac stop and pop. Crowd a little restless. Texas now by 8. That matches their largest lead of the game.
When they have space east to west, Jordan Pope, Tremont Marker, they're able to do it. Dalen Swain, all able to do their work in the middle of the paint.
44-36. Hill, left-handed delivery.
It's another guy just has done so well when he has room to work. And I think each one of these guys understand the matchup they're facing and they know how to attack it.
Mark the jump stop, gets it outside to Swain. They'll set up the offense. Five to shoot. Swain sees it. Pulls the three too strong. Now it's Hill with the right hand.
The quicker you attack, the more room you're going to have to work. That's something A&M's been able to do time and time again. Score early. Quick options are often the best.
Hill the last 4. The 8-point advantage sliced in half.
Well, Matas Vokatitis on the bench now checking back in. You should be attacking the paint.
Tremont Mark does exactly that for Texas.
Because when Matas comes back in, he occupies the block, which means the driving lanes aren't wide open.
Lead back to 6. Hill. Spin cycle with the bounce. What a game for Marcus Hill. Mark draws the triple team, checking it Swain. Swain rejected by Hill. Shot clock at 0. And a violation gives it back to Texas A&M.
Well, it's been all Hill for Texas A&M. And I said the quick attack opportunities are there, whether it be in transition or the initial attack offensively. He's been so good getting to the basket, and then you respect his ability to get all the way to the rim. You start the gap, he hits jumpers. Hill's been terrific keeping A&M in this game.
North Carolina, Vanderbilt, and Tennessee, Baylor, and TCU. It's an electric triple header. Sunday on ESPN and streaming on the ESPN app.
Wait for it tomorrow, the triple header on ESPN. Back here in College Station, Texas. We got Duke, North Carolina leading the charge tomorrow. And here we got a barn burner, 46-42. Bucky McMillan, year number 1. Sean Miller, his first campaign. And back and forth we go. Aggies have it after the rejection by Hill. Agee. Hill amongst the trees and finally claimed by Martin.
Damon Swain hasn't been able to get much going here in the second. Had 11 and a half. He's still got 11, but Jordan Pope's been good. Tremont Martin's been good. And I think at some point we're going to start to see the full physicality of Matas Fokatitis.
How about now? On the floor, Agee called for the personal.
And Bucky McMillan saying 3 seconds in the lane. I've been saying that all year. It's like we stopped calling it. I've seen guys, literally camping out, just there 10 seconds. I'm not saying that was the case on that play.
To me, that's one of those calls that can get kind of lost in the flow of the game.
They have so many other points of emphasis.
Agee just picked up his third.
I would also say, given the way the game moves and flows,
they're going to say it's on Clements.
I think it's the right call. The way the game moves and flows, you can probably camp out a little bit more because there's so much more action, so much more space on the floor. When the game becomes a bogged-down half-court game, it's obvious that you can't out.
Fokatitis at the line, 69% free throw shooter. Used every inch of the rim, got it to drop. Former freshman of the year in the American Conference last season at FAU.
Well, he grew up a lot last year. I saw him early in the season, and he looked capable, but hadn't yet figured it out. And as the season progressed, he just got better and better, more comfortable the way they play there at FAU, too.
His footwork, to me, at his size, is impressive. Agee, another three. The box out, and Pope in there to snare it. 48-42. Texas, the better team in the first half of the second here in College Station. And Isaacs called for the personal there.
I think the more the game is like this, the more it's going to favor Texas. They can control the game, and if A&M's going to foul, it's just going to hurt them even more. A&M needs this game to flow. They need early shot opportunities in transition, off of a miss, off of a steal. But the more you slow the game down with fouls, the harder it's going to be to put pace on the game.
You and I experienced this with Texas at Missouri 2 weeks ago. And the game started to get choppy, and Texas took advantage.
I said it. There were a number of reviews, and it seemed like it was going to favor the team that wants the game to slow down. And it turns out it did favor Texas pretty mightily.
Aggies get the stop, trailing by 6. Screen for Josh Holloway. Important minutes for number 1, Agee.
And I like that kind of one dribble quick jump. Matas Fokatitis couldn't get his hands up.
Agee with 16. Wilcher gets it to fall. Big triple for the Horns. 51-44. Simeon Wilcher, 35% three-point shooter. And Griffin, swatted by Fokatitis. Clear contact downstairs. And he's set to shoot 2.
Yeah, I thought this was almost airmailed when I saw it off of his hands. Hits the very back of the rim. It's a favorable bounce for him.
I haven't got a bounce like that in our personal shoot-arounds all year in the SEC.
No, usually got to hit the rim to get a bounce.
Ouch, Griffin. He hasn't hit the rim a lot this year because a lot of his threes are all net.
True.
KU transfer, also time at Alabama. including part of that Final Four team in Tuscaloosa 2 years ago. Remember his 4-point play to start the second half in Austin on January 17th really kick-started the Aggies that afternoon. John, it always feels a little dicey.
Yes.
Against that pressure, doesn't it?
I think the biggest key is you got Dalen Swain back there who can beat the press if he likes the matchup.
Pope fell down on the shot. The Aggies get a stop. Hill's been electric so far in the second. Wilcher a rejection. Swain to mark. In attack mode. Finds a way.
Wow.
How crafty was that?
Just think, again, early opportunities are some of the best percentage shots you're going to get. So look to attack. If it's not there, so be it. Pull it out.
Griffin to Vincent. Try to jam it home. Could not. Now the Aggies with a chance.
I mean, this is just good defense. Wilcher holding his ground. Hill's been really good getting to the basket, even mid-range game. And just a tough finish for Tremont Mark. Well, that being said, if Mark just gets it on the rim, there are 3 defenders trying to swipe at the ball. Matas Vokatitis is right there for an offensive rebound.
Mark gets a breather. Swain will trigger after the A&M turnover.
I don't think it's going to be a long breather right before the under 8.
Horns break the pressure. Wilcher. Vince in the block. Clements gets the rebound. Now it's Holloway on Pope. And right at the rim, they'll count the bucket. Vokatitis says, what, who, me?
It's like every time he fouls. I didn't do anything. This was pretty clear. Yep. Yeah, you're right.
I don't know if that was going to go in the way the angle was.
I don't think it was going to go in either.
But you can't touch it after it makes contact with the glass.
Appreciate you opening the rule book up for us.
I like to be an analyst every once in a while when you let me. 53-48. Big game for both sides. Joe Lunardi has Texas, part of his last 4 teams in. Also Texas A&M. He believes that both teams need to win 2 more games to clinch spots in the dance. Wilcher. You good with that shot?
He's been better with it if it went in, but I think it's a good look. You could work even harder to take a worse shot.
Ali Deba. Vincent for 3. Here comes Swain. Head to Vokatitis.
And that would be why I'm not good with Vincent taking that shot. He's the last guy to get back on defense after shooting the basketball. And Vokatitis is able to just run out for an easy dunk.
Vincent, the former Longhorn. Pop Isaacs. Big triple. And the response. From 7 to 4.
Yeah, once again, just tough to get the ball in bounds. The whole idea is get the ball in bounds, get it back to Swain, and then just walk it up.
Vincent and Vokatitis getting involved near that free throw line.
I like this. I like this, though. We're just saying, hey, clean it up. Sean Miller wants him to take a look because he thinks an elbow may have been thrown. All right.
55-51 as we step aside in College Station.
After the review, it will be a double technical foul, Class A technical foul. Red number 8 and white number 4. It'll be 14 seconds on the shot clock, and Texas will have the ball out of bounds.
Back here in College Station, you heard the great Pat Adams dictating traffic there. John Crispin, Roy Philpott. This was the play that they went back to the scorer's table to take another closer look at, Crispin.
And look, they were warned. They just said, guys, clean it up, which I love. You give guys a warning, say, before you blow a whistle, clean it up. Well, it continued. It looked like siblings in the back seat on a long drive. Like, it wasn't anything big, but they were issuing a technical foul on each, which thankfully for Matas, he didn't pick up any fouls in the first half outside of those 2 that he got early.
In the first 63 seconds.
So weird.
Well, remember, too, Jamie Vinson, the former Longhorn, now playing at Texas A&M. That is the world we live in 2026. Against the zone. Horns back to work. Pope a deep 3. Here comes Pop Isaacs.
Well, the new world that we're in, he'd end up back at Texas.
Next season you're talking about. Yeah, we've seen that a good bit. AG nearly drew the double team. Clements tracks it down. Shot clock down to 7. Crowd will let you know here. AG! And a foul called by Patrick Evans deep in the backcourt.
Dalen Swain, press breaker, nowhere to go. But this was not a good possession for A&M. They had nothing going, stagnant offense. Ball didn't really move, very little action. And yet everybody on Texas got really held up with dummy action on the far right side. A little 2-man game with no help. That was too easy.
Crowd is back in it here at Reed Arena.
And I like switch up to a zone here, a little bit of a reset, make Texas think.
Great spot by Heidi Swain. No, Titus, yes.
The problem is if you allow passes that go to a guy that's cutting behind the defense, it breaks down all your principles as a zone.
AG to Hill. He's been magnificent operating in the paint in the second half. So is AG, and a foul on Swain. His 3rd.
And I think Dalen Swain can cover anybody on the floor, but Sean Agee isn't one of them. He's just a tough matchup. He's patient. He likes physicality. He feels the physicality, right? He was feeling for the elbow. When he got max pressure on his back, he spun out of it. He's a tough matchup for Dalen Swain.
Aggies in the bonus with the next foul by Texas. Clements. Career high 29 his last game out. Foul on the shot.
That's on Swain.
Well, Swain and Heidi were right there, but it was Swain, and that is number 4.
It's an interesting moment here. Maybe you could steal a couple minutes. And the question is, Kendall Weaver was trying to check in the previous play, but he was late getting to the table. Was he coming in for Dalen Swain?
Now, don't forget the 16th annual WWE Elimination Chamber tonight, 7 Eastern, at the United Center in Chicago, exclusively on the ESPN app. Watch live or on demand with the ESPN Unlimited plan. Sign up or log in your TV provider. Details to unlock access to this great event. It's coming up tonight as Clements makes 1 out of 2.
I love how they get their own heavy metal music for their promos.
Makes it sound important.
Yeah.
Real big deal.
More serious.
And it is 57-54.
That's going to be really, I wonder if Kendall Weaver was coming in for Dalen Swain after he picked up that 3rd. Again, got to the scores table late. Dalen Swain picks up his 4th.
Cam Heidi sidesteps, and a 3. First points of the game for Cam Heidi.
And that shot had better rhythm in it. Little sidestep, rhythm dribble, better rhythm in the shot.
Griffin, an awkward jump stop in traffic. He's going to shoot 2.
Heidi getting him making threes is just a game changer. A little pump fake, sidestep, rhythm dribble increases the percentage chance of you making that shot. Now, all his shots previously looked flat. That one looked better. That's the Cam Heidi that we've really seen him shoot the ball so well.
Vokatitis just picked up his 4th. Swain's got 4. And now Sean Miller back to the bench.
This is tough. I mean, look, he had to come back with Swain and Vokatitis in the first. Now you want to get to that under 4.
And for the Aggies, 1 shot remaining by number 3, Rylan Griffin.
Vokatitis is going to be a lot of fun the next couple of years and next month in the SEC and in March Madness potentially.
Well, the thing is, like, centers stay around more. They're valuable commodities.
60-56. Against the zone. With a switch. Clements on Mark. Tremont Mark. Boy, a monster step in the paint. Weaver. 3 on the shot clock. Mark. Force one up and in. Big time bucket for Texas.
That one hurts a little if you're A&M.
Clements left open. Off the right side. Pops out to Griffin. Well, you could feel the air sucked out of the arena.
They played great defense and just a really tough shot in no man's land.
AG. The under 4 media timeout is here. Tremont Mark on the mark.
And the key is you're doing this, you're stealing baskets and stealing a little bit of time with Dalen Swain and Matas Vokatitis on the bench with 4 fouls. Not how you draw it up, but you take the 3.
Gentlemen, Alabama playing some very good basketball right now. We can't wait for those matchups. Meanwhile, back in College Station, here are the Aggies and the Longhorns on the bubble. And the winner of this game in front of us right now in prime position to be there on Selection Sunday. John Crispin, Roy Philpott. The lead is 7 for the visitors from Austin. But Rashawn Agee at the line, shooting 2.
I think Texas has managed this game well. When you think about how the game started, 2 guys, 2 best players with 2 fouls within the first 4 minutes of the game, there's a lot to manage there and navigate throughout that first half, and they've handled it pretty well. And in the second, they've had big advantageous shots being made. The last one being Tremont Mark in the corner 3.
Aggies 14 of 18 at the line. Every free throw enormous down the stretch.
And we came into this wondering what the crowd was going to be like. It's been terrific.
2 of 2 for Agee. It has been phenomenal.
That's awesome.
Lead back down to 5. Pair of first-year head coaches taking over new programs, trying to figure out life in the SEC, and doing quite well so far. Weaver, baseline. Weaver spins it in.
And they just made tough shots. I mean, defense is right there. It's kind of a bit of a broken play with Weaver going baseline. Nothing there, but he just gets the shot up.
We'll give and go with Agee. Stolen by Pope. Well,
I'd be patient here if you're Texas. No reason to push if you don't have obvious numbers. Something Sean Miller talked about before the game. Just saying kind of the risk assessment is a constant thing you have to think about without thinking too hard.
And especially against this defense of Texas A&M, unorthodox. Mark fouled on the mid-range. And now a couple of free throws away. Texas can establish its largest lead of this game.
I think Tremont Mark was careful not to push off on this play. He almost did, but the previous play he got away with one. Going to the left, he got away with a little bit of a chicken wing. That time he was careful. Pop Isaacs was close, but too close. Picked up the foul.
Mark with a team-high 17. Make it 18. The SEC Women's Basketball Tournament starts Wednesday morning at Bon Secours Wellness Arena in Greenville, South Carolina. The SEC Network will have all first and second round games, as well as the late quarterfinal matchups. First round coverage starts 10:30 a.m. Eastern. The SEC Now crew. Largest lead of this game, call it 9.
Just think that corner 3 from Tremont Mark was huge. That's unnecessary.
Those are the kind of plays. Look at Sean Miller. He has not moved. He can't believe it. Still hasn't moved.
A&M is going to bring enough problems your way. You don't need to bring problems upon yourself.
What is it like to get that kind of stare down from a coach?
I don't know. I'd look the other way if I did something like that.
Isaacs with Texas A&M in the bonus. 75% free throw shooter.
I think the other obvious go-to is the my bad, the quick my bad. It's on me. It's on
tap
me.
the chest.
Yeah, tap chest.
I got you, coach.
Throw a hand up. That's me.
Isaacs coming in from Creighton after spending his first 2 years at Texas Tech. He's going to check out. Holloway comes in. And a foul. Holloway with the body contact.
You got to think Holloway's in for full court pressure. You want to disrupt as much of this last 2:43 as possible. Holloway comes in. But sometimes it's the guys that aren't really in the rhythm of the game, where they haven't been playing enough to play up to the speed and the physicality and the tempo of the game, and they end up picking up a quick foul like that, but that gets Pop Isaacs right back in, little offense, defense.
Now the problem, Pope is an outstanding free throw shooter, over 83%.
The problem for A&M.
You'll get the bonus. The next foul, Texas, in the double bonus the rest of the way. And Sean Miller looking at Tremont Mark, screaming out instructions. They need a stop. Pope is 2 for 2.
I think the officials have done a really good job in a challenging game. Obviously, there was limited flow in the first half. We found it a bit. The second half's been much better.
Isaac, start, stop. Hard collision at the rack. Weaver gets the call.
Pop Isaacs has been so much better when he's just been decisive. When he's indecisive, he tends to take bad, low percentage shots, dribble nowhere. He was decisive in being the aggressor. He attacked, created an opportunity, ends up back at the free throw line.
Aggies now in the double bonus. One more for Isaacs. Final week of the regular season coming up, and Texas A&M will close things out with Kentucky coming to town Tuesday night here at Reed, and then a road trip at LSU next Saturday. Meanwhile, Texas gets Arkansas on the road Wednesday night before ending the year with Oklahoma back in Austin next Saturday. There's a look. The lead at 7.
It's a good job by Jordan Pope, just managing the pressure on his own.
Horns have been all about the clutch buckets in the second half. Here's Mark. Real estate, separation, short. Off of Weaver. Weaver saves it.
He's everywhere. Weaver is absolutely everywhere.
And a fresh 20. Under 2 to play. Here's Pope. Against Deba. Now Swain. Stolen by Ali Deba. We had Hill for a second. Instead, it's Griffin. In and out. How big was that? Well, a basket there. The lead is sliced to 4, and this place is nuts. Instead, Horns get a stop. Less than 90 seconds to go. And Owen Short stop the action here. A little condensation or something else on the basketball court.
A&M's done a good job of setting their pressure. I think Texas has done a better job in the second half of just negating it. They haven't really had to attack the pressure as much. They did that a little bit more in the first half, but they've just negated the pressure by bringing it up, getting their offense set, taking time off the clock, and then making big shot after big shot here in the second.
And a timeout as we step aside in College Station. We are back in 30 seconds. The Horns lead it by 7.
She's strong, she's physical.
March Madness begins March 18th on ABC, ESPN, and streaming on the ESPN app.
Final day in February, the madness to come. Well, it really starts this coming week as Champ Week gets underway. And here at Reed Arena, the Longhorns in prime position. 1:25 to go, a 7-point lead and possession. John Crispin, Roy Philpott, packed house in the Lone Star Showdown rivalry series. Round 1 went to the Aggies in Austin. What about now? Quiet second half for Swain. 5 on the timer. Pope. Buckets. from the mid-range on the baseline.
I mean, it took time off the clock, and then it led to a stoppage, which allowed you to get set, clear that one side of the floor, and Jordan Pope does what he's been doing this second half, make big shot.
Lead us back to 9. AG short. Weaver. And saved by Mark. He'll be bumped out of bounds by Griffin. And right now, Texas primed to get revenge after what transpired 42 days ago.
You start to look at this, and you see points in the paint even. Then you look at free throw shooting, 19 of 23 for A&M, 10 of 10 for Texas. But the biggest difference to me, and it just jumps out, 12% from 3 for A&M. That's a challenge. This is a team that wants to be able to knock down threes, put on a press, push the tempo and the pace of the game. But if you can't make threes, 3 of 17 is going to kill you.
Indeed it will. You see the fans here in Aggie land heading for the exits. Under a minute to go and a 9-point deficit.
I still think the biggest shot of the game was Tremont Mark with about 4 minutes to play. Broken play, nothing happened. He's stuck in the corner and somehow heaves up a 3 that goes in. And then on the other end, Rylan Griffin, they get a steal and they get a great look in and out, just the way the game goes.
Well, Hill, it felt like, had a path with Ali Diba off the steal.
This is the play. I mean, nothing's there. Clock running down. You see 1 second on the shot clock. When that ball's in the air, it's a bit of a prayer, but that's just the way basketball is. If you can't create separation, you run the risk of not being able to close.
Now, Tremont Mark has hit more than his fair share of game winners and big shots in his career. And now over the 20-point mark tonight with 21. Including 15 in the second half. Isaacs.
I also think Tremont Mark's such a tough cover because he's lefty. You almost forget he could turn to his left and finish. That was a huge shot. Gave him a lead that Texas is trying to hang on to.
Now the 3 by Isaacs, the lead sliced to 8, 44.3 seconds to go. Well-played game. You say this, the Aggies, you know they're not going to give up. But for Texas, this team with Dalen Swain and Matas Vokatitis, they're going to be a problem coming up in the SEC tournament and potentially March Madness.
They are, but I think you're learning a little more about this team. Jordan Pope's ability to make big shots, that's been huge. Kendall Weaver's ability to impact the game. I don't ask Kendall Weaver to come in and score 20 on any given night. Doesn't matter. Just go make an impact. He does just that. I think you've gotten contributions from guys that you don't expect as much from. Obviously, Kendall Weaver's one. The big 3 by Cam Heide was huge. And what might be even bigger is him finding some confidence, something that seems to be lost over the last few weeks.
How about Texas in this position with its new head coach, Sean Miller? Dalen Swain tonight. Only 11 points, but 10 rebounds and an assist. He played physical, too.
Yeah, but he plays the game that needs to be played. I think he's been terrific. He's also negated a lot of the pressure that we've seen that dictated the first half.
Well, Swain can do it in different ways. Pope double team.
It's a foul.
And Swain off the leg to Mark. Still no whistle, and there it is.
It's like 4 fouls in the backcourt.
Did get a little handsy.
It got handsy, it got kneesy, hippie, all of it.
It got hippie?
Like the more physical kind.
Gotcha. Getting weird in College Station. 73-65. Mark's got 21 points tonight. 4 rebounds. I think you mentioned it. Any one of the big 3, Mark, Swain, Vokatitis.
And then add Jordan Pope to that at times because he can go for 25 on any given night. It's just whether the game determines that. Jordan Pope doesn't force as much. I think the game flows through guys like Swain and Matas Vokatitis. But they're capable guards. And I think the job that they did really well was managing the pressure.
Now Now the Aggies will get Kentucky here Tuesday night. That game comes big for both teams. And the Cats, impressive in Lexington earlier today. And a win against Vanderbilt in resounding fashion.
I think the point I want to make is these are two good teams, but they're also two very dangerous teams. I think at this point in the season, there are teams that are sniffing the bubble that you watch and you go, yeah, I don't think they can win a game now. They just don't have that something, right? These are two teams that are difficult to match up against. You think about the size and the physicality of Texas, and then you look at the style that A&M puts forth. Now, don't get me wrong. I think this A&M team going forward under Bucky McMillan is going to be terrific. I think it's going to be a fun watch. I think this place is going to be full because this fan base is going to come out to a brand, a style of basketball that they're going to be excited about. They don't have the players right now that they're going to have going forward, but Texas is a team that has proven they can beat pretty much anybody in the country. That makes them incredibly dangerous if they get to March.
Now, Joe Lunardi, he told you earlier in our show today, he thinks that both Texas and Texas A&M need to win 2 more games, including the winner of this game tonight. So for you Longhorn fans watching, you got 1 in the bag, and now potentially another to come, and that would maybe put you in that prime spot.
And then you look at A&M, you go, all right, Kentucky, who's starting to find themselves, and then LSU, who's struggling. So you don't want to leave it up to chance.
Well, you got Nashville, too.
Yep, Nashville.
SEC tournament.
But that's a whole different kind of pressure you don't want to take.
Weaver right in front of Heidi. And shot clock is off. 1 more foul.
I said earlier today at shoot-around, that was us. My sophomore year at Penn State, we knew going into the Big Ten tournament we needed to at least beat Michigan to have a chance. Maybe just play well against Michigan State. Winning against Michigan State would get us in. That is a unique pressure. Now, it was easier for us as Penn State, where you're not expected to be in the NCAA tournament. It was an anomaly. So we ended up beating Michigan State and getting in, but there's a pressure that teams carry into the tournament that could weigh on you pretty heavily.
Get you back to the studio. 11.4 seconds away. We'll get you caught up to date. Everything happening around the country. A very important day. The final day of February. And John, let's also give credit to this crowd, this arena.
Awesome.
I mean, it's the last day of February. It sounded like March.
Sure did.
For the first 30 minutes of this one.
I think there's a lot to be excited about here. It's hard to assemble a team, but it's also hard in one-year teams to establish a brand and a style. And I think Bucky's done that this year. This is a group, we should be excited about basketball here at A&M.
The 3, and that'll do it. Now the Texas Longhorns get it done on the road in Aggieland. 76-70, the final score.
I think that's a huge win for Sean Miller. I think, obviously, if you're Texas, you feel pretty good. You want to feel even better heading into the SEC tournament in Nashville.
First win here in College Station in a minute, and it was a big one. On behalf of our entire crew here in the Lone Star State, we thank you for watching. Let's get you back to the studio. Arno Cal for updates and highlights around the country.